Didn't think it looked like Ronnie O'Sullivan, actually, but anyway, it's Rob Spencer. Ronnie will be with us shortly, so let's just have a little look at table 2. The interest, I think, in this match, apart from this group, is these two are playing each other at the Masters next week. Tuesday night, Mark Selby, Ali Carter. So obviously very different atmosphere, but just to be sort of bragging rights going into it, whoever can win this match. If it's anything less than 6-4, I'll feel shortchanged. I can't believe it won't be a battle between those two. Probably 6-5 either way.
I think both players will look at this match as a chance to just plant a seed of doubt in one another's mind, whoever comes through this. Of course, it's a much shorter format, but both of them will be really up for getting the victory here.
Yeah, I mean, that dynamic is in the background, isn't it? The fact they're playing next week, it can't be avoided, really. Of course, in this event, I mean, they could easily end up playing each other again tomorrow night, couldn't they, in the playoffs? Selby certainly looks certain to be in those playoffs, and Carter looking good as well. 2 wins out of 3, of course, won his first 2 matches 3-0, so in the frames lost column, he's only lost 3 so far. Ronnie O'Sullivan then is in the arena to take on Jak Jones. Remember, O'Sullivan's played 3, lost 3. And Jak Jones has only actually played 2, won 1. The maximum man, and of course he's played more snooker than anyone at the Championship League this year. He's been runner-up in the first 2 groups. So this is in fact his 19th match in the 5 days he's been here.
I don't know what's more impressive, the fact that Jak Jones has played 19 matches, or the fact that his partner is up in the Players' Lounge and had to endure 19 matches over the past few days. Long days here at Championship League, and she's heavily pregnant. Due very soon, I believe, and she's sat through every match so far. Fair play to her.
He's made 10 centuries as well, Jones, so, you know, the maximum was the highlight, but the scoring has been really superb.
Six.
Did beat O'Sullivan last year in the Championship League 3-0 in Group 7.
Seven.
It's one of those results at the time, it maybe went unnoticed, but of course that was only a few weeks before the World Championship. The qualifying, and then obviously his great run through to the Crucible. These events, you know, they're all part of the same narrative, and confidence is what all the players are looking for.
Jak's got a great chance here to get more reds into play. He can drop this red in the middle, leave the high angle on the blue. It's a pretty...
14.
It's pretty much a free shot into these reds, with that red being over the green pocket as well. So, looking for a fullish contact to the top red. Well, he's really got into that, and look at the work he's got on the cue ball. Very well controlled. Was always going to be on that red over the green pocket. Well, he was looking for an angle on either red down this top cushion, and he might have landed pretty straight on both. Can he just force this cue ball out? 2 cushions for the black. Oh, he was fine.
28.
Well, already a chance for century number 11 in the Championship League this year for Jak Jones. Obviously the main thing is win the frame.
35. 36. 43. 44.
Made 29 centuries now this season. He made 18 last season, so obviously the ones he's had here have helped him already beat that total. But it's still, I guess, been a bit of a disappointing campaign in as much as he lost his top 16 place. And of course, at this time of the year with the Masters, that's massive. He won't be there next week. Still, though, chance to be seeded at the Crucible. That's, I suppose, his main aim now for the rest of the season.
Well, he's taken these really well so far. Just a few balls away now from securing this opening frame in pretty quick time. He's attacked this frame from the off, and 59. That's what he's going to have to do to beat Ronnie O'Sullivan. Okay, Ronnie's been far from at his best today. A couple of problems along the way. But Jak has been suffering with a bad neck as well, so he's had a few things to contend with.
Yes, I mean, obviously this is a basketball arena here, and 65. They've got medical staff. The chiropractor had a little session with him between the snooker 66. Sessions. Anyway, this black should be 1-0 to him. Very impressive start, this.
$73. 74. 81. 82. 89.
Well, hasn't he taken these well? What a start from Jak.
90.
Well, very much chance of the century now. That red has gone in. Yeah, he went high on the cue ball initially there. Sort of teased at the fact that he was going to play on that red on the left side cushion, but just deciding to make sure of the century first. Pop this red in his next colour to do that.
Yeah, and it will be 11 centuries in the 19 matches he's played, but they're short matches, aren't they? You know, they're only best of fives.
98.
Pretty remarkable. This is the 5th day he's been here. This rate of scoring that he's keeping up. Superb. Looking for the cannon to the red.
100. Jak Jones 100.
He made his 100th career
And the
century the
first
other day. He's now up to 106. He's just making centuries for fun. That's his 11th of the tournament. And he leads Ronnie O'Sullivan already 1-0. So Jak Jones with 100 exactly has won the opening frame against Ronnie O'Sullivan. The last match of the day on table one. O'Sullivan still yet to win one. He's lost his first three. One each, Mark Selby and Ali Carter on table two.
Well, that was a very risky shot choice from Ronnie there. Got the cover in behind the green, because that red was very nearly cuttable into that left middle pocket. time Ronnie able to break the deadlock, play the more conventional safety shot, and has got Jak in a little bit of trouble at the same time. Covered the red by the blue with the green, which forces Jak to again come down this end of the table. He's a very patient player, Jak Jones. He won't be tempted by anything where he doesn't feel there's much value in it. Happy to play the patient game.
Just to say, Selby, that second frame he won, he made another century, so that's 5 he's made today. Some of the guys that sort of travelled over Christmas, did exhibitions. Selby was at home. He said he did have a little knock over the new year just to get himself into shape for the second half of the season.
That's the second time that Ronnie's been reluctant to play the shot that you see every now and then when the player goes into the pack of reds and screw back to this top cushion, opening the reds. Twice he's refused that, so possibly down to the fact that he saw Jak Jones make that century break in the opener. Doesn't want to play an open game here. Oh, this red's close. It's all the way.
What? Jak Jones won.
And that was a much better shot than it looked. These cloths very fast, very reactive. It's very easy to either over or undercook that type of shot. And the patient game may have paid off now from Jak Jones. Has Ronnie left this red to middle? Oh, surely he can see this red. Ronnie will be very fortunate if Jak can't pot this.
Yeah, we're just talking sort of millimetres there, really making the difference. So O'Sullivan has made a couple of big breaks today, but overall it's been rather inconsistent performance. At times he's been promising positions, broken down. Like to end the day on a high. I think he's come here, you know, it's not about winning the group for Ronnie O'Sullivan. He's won so many tournaments, he doesn't need to be, you know, worrying about that. But he wants to get a couple of good days' practice, and that means playing well. Not just playing, but you know, feeling that he's hitting the ball nicely. He's had some tip trouble, of course, which hasn't helped.
$40. $21. $22.
Again, just taking the option to go into the reds one more time.
29.
Just get a few more balls moving. It was all kind of covering one another there, so took the opportunity to play that shot at that moment, and it's worked out fine. So, well, he's lost the cue ball.
30.
Well, he didn't like that, did he? Useless, he says. He almost sort of kicked the table. He was never going to, but just showing a bit of frustration. Because, as I say, he's come here, you know, for practice, to try and find something ahead of the Masters. And it's just not quite happening for him.
30.
It's happening for Mark Selby on table 2. He's about to make what will be his 6th century of the day to lead Ali Carter 2-1. Not a happy picture for O'Sullivan there, though.
Yeah, and it's that exact type of shot that he just broke down on there, Ronnie, that has just been costing him today. Those little touch shots. Just not quite been 100% there with them. A lot of that has to do with the tip, there's no doubt about it. If you're not quite getting the feel out of the tip, it can be very difficult to play those little cute shots. But he's back in.
Yeah, nicely controlled. Long red.
$8. $9.
O'Sullivan yet to appear in a final this season. Hasn't played as many tournaments as the other top players.
12. 30.
One of those, though, isn't it? I mean, he could struggle all season, but if he won an 8th world title, that's all anyone would remember. Quite understandably, that would, of course, be a new record set. Just seems a very young 49-year-old, doesn't he? Just, he looks good, you know, he looks after himself, and he plays a young man's game still.
$20. Thank you.
Yeah, I must say, I was just up in the players' lounge and I was sat with him, and I did think the same thing. He looks very lean. He looks like he's been hitting the gym. Looking very fit.
Staying away from that lemon drizzle cake they have there 24/7 in that players' room. Can't say the same for myself.
27. 28.
Anyway, despite that mishap along the way, this is frame ball for one each.
$35. 36. 43. 44. 50. 51. 57. 58. 64. 66.
Well, in the end, it's been a lovely break. Bearing in mind, when he broke down initially, he called himself useless. This has been anything but from the first red.
69. 73.
I'm going to make sure to keep practicing, and hopefully one day I can be useless.
78.
Yeah, I mean, he's held to high standards, but he holds himself to them as well. Never quite been satisfied. But that's pushed him on to keep working, to keep practicing,
84.
to look for new ways. He's with Lee Walker at the moment as a coach and working on Lee's sort of ideas. So as I say, despite that mishap, the frame is his. Ronnie O'Sullivan levels up with Jak Jones at one each. This is the last match of the day on table one here at the Championship League. And Ronnie O'Sullivan has levelled up one each with Jak Jones. It's 2-1 to Mark Selby. He's had 2 centuries against Ali Carter. Selby already 3 points out of 3, so already pretty much guaranteed to be seeing him tomorrow night in the playoffs. O'Sullivan, well, that's in the balance. He'd have to win this match, and you would think his last 2. Tomorrow he plays Robert Milkins first on and Ali Carter in his last match. Remember, it's the top 4 that go through to the playoffs. Yeah, it's been a long day for everybody.
Okay, yeah. Third frame.
Possible 3 frames
Jak
left.
Jones to break.
And immediately up from that one, as soon as he struck it, he knew he'd caught that red all wrong. Well, that's a big let-off because I fully expected Jak to knock that red in. It wasn't too difficult. That one that Ronnie's just crunched in, much more difficult. And struck it really well. Chance to get into the reds now. Didn't need to go into them with too much pace with those 2 reds to the right of the pack available. He's on 1 of them.
First one was dismissed.
Cheers, thank you. 9.
Looking for a 9th Masters title later this month. Of course, already holds the record with 8.
60.
He's been in 14 finals at the Masters.
Thank you.
And most of the ones he's lost have been close. He lost to Decided to Selby. Of course, Paul Hunter made that great comeback against him. Steve Davis actually beat him 10-8 one year from 8-4 down. Now, is he on one here? Doesn't seem to be.
24. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 24.
Yeah, I guess the only heavy defeat was Trump beat him 10-4, didn't he, back in 2019. But of course, O'Sullivan opens the show Sunday against John Higgins. That in itself is quite intimidating, being the first match on. You know, all the build-up there's going to be.
Yeah, and rightly so, because it's a clash of 2 titans, isn't it? What an amazing way to kick off the Masters that will be.
Yeah, I mean, they've contested 3 finals there. O'Sullivan's won 2 of them. They played one other match there in the lockdown, actually, where Higgins won, but between them they made 5 centuries in a row. But John Higgins has had a couple of new cues this season. It's funny, isn't it? I mean, neither's got anything to prove, and yet they're still trying to prove it, aren't they? You know, Ronnie's with Lee Walker. He's trying to change things up, looking for a different way of looking at things. John's been changing cues. Just fascinating how they don't rest on their laurels.
And word on the street is that John has found a cue that he's really, really happy with. I think he's got another title in him still, John Higgins.
Well, meanwhile, it was not a good safety, was it, from Jak Jones? He left that red on, so Sullivan back in. Oh, that red's travelled too far to be onto right middle. See, he's getting a bit frustrated about things.
Okay.
Covered nicely.
9.
Yeah, I mean, on Higgins, you know, he dropped out the top 16, didn't he, this season after the English Open, after 29 years.
50.
And it was kind of end of an era, and, you know, people were starting to think, OK, well,
16.
thanks for everything, John, and all the rest. A week later, he was back in. He got to the final of the British Open. It was like it never happened.
That tends to be the case with all greats in any sport.
20.
You write them off at your peril. They just keep proving you wrong.
Yeah, and of course the
22.
third member of that club, Mark Williams, has done it as well, hasn't he? You know, won the Tour Championship, beat Ronnie in the final, won the Champion of Champions this season. He's not happy with how he's playing, but this is a chance for a 2-1 lead nonetheless. Won the most matches at the Masters, 62. Stephen Hendry, 42, is second on that list. And I think the stat that's the most telling, most centuries at the Masters, O'Sullivan 86. Next best is Hendry again, 46. So he's made 40 more centuries than the next player on the list.
34. 35.
It was a very elementary mistake that Jak Jones made to let Ronnie in for this visit, and it could have gone wrong a couple of times for Ronnie, but he's just about held himself together to keep this break going. And he's taken these out really nicely.
41.
But the safety from Jak was so poor, just rolling into the reds. He left the red to middle.
I think the thing today with O'Sullivan, he's played properly. He hasn't swung his cue at them. You know,
48.
He's got frustrated at times, and he's made mistakes at times, but
49.
he's been businesslike nonetheless.
$54. 55. 62.
So made an 84 in the last frame, already up to 62 here.
63. Cheers. $68. 69.
Wow, what a pot that was down the rail. He just bullied that red into the pocket. Does look in a mean mood, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
71. 73.
Not quite enough on for the ton, but
76.
he's made a frame-winning break, likely to be a clearance.
80. 85. 91.
Yeah, big mistake from Jak Jones for sure. That safety error opened the door here. And Ronnie O'Sullivan has charged through it.
98.
A terrific 98 clearance from the Rocket to lead Jak Jones here. 2-1, he needs one more frame for victory. So breaks of 84 and 98 from Ronnie O'Sullivan have given him a 2-1 lead over Jak Jones. He needs one more frame to win his first match of this group, having lost his first 3. And if he could then win his last 2 tomorrow, he could still make the playoffs.
Well, he needed something, Jak Jones, and that might just be that something, but the cue ball needed to travel on a touch more. What a brilliant pot that was from right underneath the baulk cushion. He was up and down, he didn't look too comfortable. But importantly, the red went in, and he's followed it up with a good pot on the black. That was super thin and very missable.
8. 9. 40. 50.
Well, he's got 2 or 3 loose reds in open play to work off here. but he would like to get into that pack at some point while some loose reds are still in the open, just to maximise his chances of landing. Thought he might have left himself a low angle on this black to play that pack split now, but he's too straight.
$22. Jak Jones, 22.
Oh, this time the much thicker safety shot from Ronnie. Trying to put Jak under pressure, very nearly flute one to the right corner. And he most certainly has left a pot on for Jak. Now, does this black pass to this left corner pocket? If it does, it's a good chance. If it doesn't, it's not straightforward to get on his colour from this red. There might be value in playing this cushion first.
One.
Well, in all three groups, we've already seen that the steel
8.
in Jak Jones's game, the tenacity. We saw it actually in the maximum yesterday. There were a couple of moments where he really had to
9.
recover. I mean, the pink at the end actually was one of them. And looking to use that determination again. It's already a good chance this with the reds open. So Sullivan opened them up, didn't he, with that thick safety that Stephen mentioned. So a chance to level up and force a decider.
60.
Sullivan's already lost deciders today to Chris Wakelin and Mark Selby. Of course, in between lost 3-1 to Karen Wilson. Selby, by the way, is about to beat Ali Carter 3-1. So that's 4 wins out of 4 for the local man. Mark Selby already looking like the man to beat in this group. Of course, he won the title last year. Ended with a break of 68. He's had 6 centuries today, Selby. And he is top overnight.
24.
4 points, 4 wins out of 4.
25. $32. 33.
So going along nicely here, Jack. Couple of visits and already finds himself 60 points in front when this blue disappears. A few more pots away from taking us the distance, and I think it really is a toss of a coin if this match goes to a decider.
38.
Both players in patches have played well and also struggled in others.
13.
Another good strike from Jak, and that surely now is going to be the frame black and then another red to follow. As you said earlier, Dave, I don't think it will bother Ronnie too much, the results here. It's more about the performance, and you also mentioned how much of a perfectionist he is, holds himself in very high regards, and that's pretty much exactly what he's after, some good performances.
Yeah, and it's been, from him, inconsistent, even within matches. Now, Jones still needs this red.
46.
Just about on it. Yeah, I mean, even this match, O'Sullivan's made 2 nice breaks, but maybe that he doesn't ultimately get the win. We'll see. He needs 1 snooker right now. The black surely going to put Jones over the line and set up a deciding frame finish. Not there,
Jak
though,
Jones.
so 1 snooker
47.
needed.
One. Eight. 9.
Ronnie will try and take blacks with another 2 of these reds. Look to leave the final red on the table, play a snooker from it.
60.
It's good to see him
17.
carrying on here for snookers, actually, because over the years sometimes he's just thrown the towel in when it's snookers required, but I think he's using this as valuable table time, if anything, just to continue getting used to this new tip.
24. 25.
And a decision will be made very soon by Ronnie as to whether to keep this tip on for the Masters. He doesn't necessarily want to leave it too long before making that decision, so that may come tonight. At least then he can reflect on a day's play and make that decision with a clearer mind.
32.
Didn't get the snooker this time. Well, not a very good contact on the object ball, and there was both running loose. Now, does this red pass the green? From Jak's body language, it looks as if it will. Well, it clearly did, and he got nowhere near it in the end.
Yeah, it's good to see O'Sullivan battling for snookers. Of course, 20 years ago now, he was mentored by Ray Reardon. Sadly passed away last year. He was an absolute master at the tactical side.
Well, chance for Jak to maybe lay a snooker himself here in behind this red. Try and catch as much of the red as possible. Just having a look to see what sort of gap there is behind the red, but I think he can play this. Trace a right-hand side on the cue ball, send the red back down towards the black, hold the cue ball where the red is. That's what he's tried. He's just caught a little less of the red than he would have liked, and look at what has happened. That's always on that sort of shot. If you don't catch enough of the red, you lose the cue ball, and that is the snooker that Ronnie required.
But doesn't pot the red. What a chance that was to make a winning clearance, and he's annoyed. Look at that. He can't bring himself to leave the table. Well, terrific pot. He'll be relieved. You know, another day that in-off could have cost him the match. O'Sullivan didn't knock in the long red. And, well, already 2 snookers needed here.
Jak Jones won and the
And O'Sullivan has seen enough. So after all that, we are heading into a decider. One more frame to play here today. Ronnie O'Sullivan and Jak Jones level at 2-2. So we have one more frame to play. Ronnie O'Sullivan 2, Jak Jones 2. And a reminder, O'Sullivan's played 3, lost 3. Jones has played 2, won 1, lost 1. So certainly if O'Sullivan lost this, then he will not be contesting the playoffs tomorrow night. A victory and still a chance with a better day tomorrow of making the top 4. Mark Selby will be there. He's won 4 out of 4. He's top overnight, 6 centuries today. Terrific all-round performance, including the highest break, 140 in that decider against O'Sullivan earlier.
This time a much better attacking safety shot from Ronnie. Perfect length on the cue ball. Really getting Jak in trouble. If he's cut off the main bunch of the reds there, Jak has got a problem here. He's looking to try and possibly dump the cue ball on this cushion. His concern is that if he doesn't get the cue ball tight, he may leave that red closest to right corner cuttable for Ronnie. Got to be very careful here, Jak. Well, he found a path to try and get that cue ball back to baulk. It's a little shy of pace, as he left one potable for Ronnie. At first glance, it would seem not. But what it did do is allow for a chance for Ronnie to really put Jak in trouble once again. All the traffic is down this right side of the table, so Jak trying to swing the cue ball round the back of the reds. Oh, he's found a pot. It just passed, and that's a brilliant strike from Jak.
One.
Well, that's one way to really get yourself out of trouble. Pot your way out of trouble.
Jak Jones 1.
Very hard to get tight to the green, but he's good at those shots. You know, they have to be so delicate. Obviously, you don't want to underhit it and be put back in yourself, but equally don't want to massively overhit it. Giving O'Sullivan something to think about.
Well, he's left this red to left corner for Jak, and if he's got a little bit of an angle, ideally just slightly low of the red, he can pot this and play for the black. Well, he's not even tempted by it, so taking the red to middle because it offers an element of safety. Can Jak get through to the potting angle of this red just above the 3 in a straight line? Very tight. He felt he could, and he could.
One.
Well, that's a brilliant shot, because that was a very, very tough pot. But in getting it, has presented himself with a half-decent scoring chance here.
Three.
Now, can he just drop this red in and hold for the black and leave himself just a slight angle low to then push one of those reds away from directly above the black spot? That would really open things up.
Thank you.
No, he's possibly just landed a little straight or high on the black,
Four.
so may not be able to do that here.
Eleven.
Well, it's a definite chance, and we know how well he's scored. He's made 11 centuries in the tournament, including one in this match. First frame, 100 exactly. And having said all of that, he misses that black. That was unexpected. But there's always a different feel about a decider, I think.
One.
Yeah, he certainly wasn't happy with something there, Jak. He was a long, long way away from potting that black as well, so that was a massive mistake. Because he was just going well. He managed to pot the red right in amongst the pack, which released another couple more, so big chance possibly missed. Now, what can Ronnie do?
Eight.
He's really got 40 points guaranteed here. Just keeps a close white around the black spot. As he pots one red, it will release another, so this really is a great match-winning chance that's come from nowhere, really.
60. 70.
Well, he didn't have to play that shot there, but decided
24.
to, committed to it, and it's worked out lovely. He's opened all the reds now.
24.
They're all pottable. No cannons required.
Yeah, chance to end the day on a high at least, having lost his first 3 matches. Been a mixed bag from him. But we all know there's always something special in there. And if you can bring it out for a sustained spell, you can still, of course, win any tournament. You maybe haven't seen it in terms of sustained spells that often this season. Having said that, he's actually played a couple of matches he lost. He played really well in Jak Jones at the Champion of Champions. He went 3-0 up
40.
Chow didn't pot a ball, but he was superb in turning that round. And the UK Championship as well, fought up on Barry Hawkins. You know, he's playing good stuff, and Barry
40.
raised his game. Took the game to O'Sullivan, which is what you have to do.
$48. $49.
I think if he'd always been satisfied with how he was playing, he wouldn't have won as much. You know, he's always looking
57.
to master the game. It's very hard to do that because it's a very hard game, but he's come closer, I guess, than anyone has over the years.
$62.
Yeah, and it fascinates me just how frustrated he still gets with himself and the game. And it just goes to show how much he still wants to win and how much pride he still takes in his performance.
Well, he should have won this match. Snooker's needed, so Jak Jones missed that black unexpectedly. It's been costly, and it means O'Sullivan will
65.
finally take his first point of the day.
66. $73. 74.
And a chance to finish with a ton.
Yeah, I mean, for all that he's sort of supposedly struggled, it would be his
79.
third of the day. Thing with Ronnie O'Sullivan, he's held to high standards. He holds himself to them
81.
because he's capable of high standards.
$84. 88. 93. 99.
Well, it's a bit of a grandstand finish, this. Can he knock the black in for the ton? Of course he can.
106.
Ronnie O'Sullivan finishes off in style, 106, to complete a 3-2 victory over Jak Jones and collect his first point in Group 3 of the Championship League. And that concludes a fascinating day, and this is how it all stacks up. Mark Selby, 6 entries he made today, 4 points out of 4 wins for Selby. So the defending Championship League champion already looking good. Chris Wakelin, Corin Wilson and Ali Carter overnight are in the playoff spots, all on 2 points. O'Sullivan and Jones 1 each. Robert Milkins, though, played 3, lost 3. He needs to make up ground, of course, tomorrow. And tomorrow is where we'll have our third player into the winners group to join Hossein Vafai and Si Jiahui. And these are the matches we'll be watching. O'Sullivan's back at 11 o'clock in the morning local time to play Robert Milkins. Corin Wilson, Ali Carter on table 2. And it all builds up, of course, to the playoffs, the 2 semi-finals. The final will be here on table 1 tomorrow night. So looking forward to that. Thanks for your company today. We'll do it all again on Thursday. For now, though, it's good night.